Welcome to Watching the Horizon. I'm Jake. I want to talk briefly about land. Now, whether you're thinking that you want a possible bug out location or you're thinking you want to just escape the city entirely and you want to move out to the country and grow a lot of peaches, obviously one of the biggest factors, one of the biggest hurdles for most people is land. I would say it's the top two. Ooh, not coffee. So it's hard. I get it. Land is expensive. Generally speaking. I mean, you can't just go buy any old plot of dirt, can you? Well, I kind of feel like your land needs to have, a couple of things. Good access in and out. You need to be able to get access to water. You need to be able to at least build on it. Everyone's going to have their own preferences. But the biggest thing is, because land is so expensive, is there a better time to buy land throughout the year? Is land generally cheaper in any particular season? The short answer is yes. That is accurate. And you might be wondering, well, when is going to be that time? Well, first off, I would recommend that you start looking always. Find the area that you're looking to move, or that you would like to, buy the land in, and find out what the local MLS is. Get some realtors. Nowadays, there are so many realtors that actually have an MLS search on their website that you can subscribe to. So even if you're looking, potentially at several different areas, it doesn't matter, the realtor themselves. You can put in a search and have them email you results daily or weekly for any piece of land that shows up, not just for that particular real estate group. So, sign up with a few, cover a large area, cast a wide net, and just, kind of be involved. But generally speaking, when it comes to what is the best time of year to buy land, well, the time is now. Of course, if you're watching this video later, winter, when it starts to get cold. Generally speaking, sellers and buyers of land, they kind of prime up during the springtime. You may have a little bit more difficult time finding land, potentially. People might see the, season coming to a close or a slowdown, and they may let their listings expire and, fall off. That's partly why I suggested that you always have that subscription going, and that way you can kind of, be aware of, what's out there, what's going on. And then if you see a piece of land that you're kind of interested in, you think maybe, and maybe it's not selling, maybe it's not going anywhere, not moving, and you're like, that price point's just a little high. If that were to come down a bit, first off, you can always make an offer. Maybe they'll take it, maybe they won't. But if you really don't think they will, and so you don't even bother, keep your eye on it. But then around the the late fall, when it starts to get cold, people don't want to go land shopping typically. It's cold and miserable. A lot of people, they like to go visit the land first. They're willing to they're willing to buy it, but not sight unseen. Well, be willing to do what others aren't, and then reap the discount. Get the rewards. So if that piece of property is still around, or maybe that listing just kind of fell off, go ahead and, shoot an email to that realtor and just be like, hey, let's let's put in an offer. And then now you can go ahead and offer the amount that you want, even though it's less than maybe what you originally thought. If you're really feeling it, contact the county and find out who actually owns that land. So if you've got a listing that just expired, nobody bought it, it just expired. Well, contact the county, find out who owns it, and, send them a letter and be like, hey, I noticed you had a piece of land for sale earlier this year, and I noticed that it's not for sale anymore. Well, now that the listing's expired, they may be more willing to look at your lower offer, since they're not necessarily going to have to pay those realtor fees. I know. Different realtors got different contracts. They loop you in. They stick it to you for, months after the contract expires. Whatever. Find out. Send them a letter. See if it works. I mean, you never know, right? So, the best time to buy land is when it starts to get cold and crappy outside. People are still, willing to sell it as long as you're still willing to buy it, because there's certainly less competition. The demand goes down. So there it is. Short and quick, sweet video. And I hope it does something for you. I'm still in the process of looking for land myself. When I first started, I sort of had, really, really high expectations, and kind of the longer it takes, I realized that, the perfect piece of land isn't necessarily out there in my price range. It's probably the biggest, the biggest factor. But, I've seen a few. I've asked in the past if any of you guys were interested in going with me and checking out any of these pieces. I didn't really get any response, so I'm certainly not going to bore you with it. But for those of you who are interested in a bug out location, I think that if you haven't already started, just get involved. Get your nose, in and amongst the game, and if you're actively looking, you'll be surprised. You could just accidentally stumble on just the one that you want, and you might have a real motivated seller. So don't let it pass you by if you're not even looking. So, all right, I'll let you get to it. Appreciate you watching. Be sure to keep your eyes open.